In this video, we're going to talk about how to create stem and leaf plots. A stem and leaf plot is going to look like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some data. This example is the oldest age of a student in the household, and there's a few different things that we need to set up. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a vertical line and a horizontal line. The left side of that horizontal line are going to represent our stems, and then the right side is going to represent our leaves, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. It's important to include a title when you make a stem and leaf plot, and then it's also important to define a key. So the way that you would read this key is that 3 would be the stem, it would be the number on the left side of the line, and then you've got the line that goes straight up and down here, and then 8 would be the leaf, which is going to go on the right side of the line, which means if you see a 3 and an 8 next to each other, that's going to represent the number 38. So what we would do is take a look at our data. So we're looking at all of the data over here, and we're trying to figure out kind of the lowest and the highest ages that we have. So we've got 38 as our lowest age here. And then what we're going to do is, or I'm sorry, not 38, 35 as our lowest age here. And then if we look to try to find our highest age, it looks like we've got 70 as our highest age. So we've got somebody in their 30s all the way up to somebody in their 70s, which is why my stems go from 3 to 7. So this first row is going to represent people in their 30s, second row is going to represent people in their 40s, then 50s, 60s, and 70s. What I'm going to do next is just go through my data that I have over here to the side, and I'm going to start to fill in the numbers that I have for my leaves. So the youngest age that I see here is 35. So I'm going to cross off 35, and I'm going to go ahead and put a 5 for my leaf there. And then the only other age that I see for somebody in their 30s is 38. So I'm going to cross that one off as well, and I'm going to put an 8. It's important when you do your leaves that you go from lowest to highest. So you want to try to find the lowest age first to the highest age. We also have a bunch of people in their 40s, and I'm actually going to wait to do the people in their 40s because there's a lot of people listed in their 40s, and I'm going to wait to do the 50s as well. I'm going to skip ahead to the 60s and the 70s because there aren't as many of those. I see a person in their 60s here that's exactly 60, so I'm going to cross that one off and list it in my stem and leaf plot. And then I also see somebody here who's 65, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. So I'm going to put in a 5. And then for their 70s, I only see one person in their 70s here, so I'm going to fill that in next. Now, I think I'm going to do the 50s next just because there aren't quite as many of those, and I'm going to do my best to go from lowest to highest. So I see somebody here in their 50s, so I'm going to put a 0 in. And I actually see 2 people who are 51. I've got one person here who's 51 and another one here who's 51. So I'm going to list a 1, 2 separate times. I don't see any 52s, but I do see some 53s. So I've got a 53 here and another 53. So I'm going to go ahead and list both of those out. And then I'm going to look and see if I have any 54s. I've got a 54 and another 54. And then I'm going to move on to 55. It looks like I've got a 55 here and here, so 2 of those. And then I think the last one I have in my 50s is right here for 56. I think I've done everybody in their 50s, so now I'm going to do the 40s. Now, you can do these in any order you want. The only reason I did the 40s last was because I knew I had the most of those, and I thought it would be easiest to find them from lowest to highest if I had already crossed a bunch off. I think the lowest for the 40s I see is 42, and I see 2 of those, so a 42 here and a 42 here. And then I'm going to go to my 43s, so I've got a 43 and a 43. And then next, I'm going to look and see, oh, I've got some more 43s, actually. I've got another 43 and another 43. Let's see, did I get all of my 43s? I think so. Okay, so now I'm going to go into 44. Now I'm going to do my 45. So I've got 2 45s. I've got one here and one here. And then next would be 46, and I believe I've only got one of those. For 47, I think I see 2 47, so I'm going to list the 7 twice. And then for 48, I see that on there twice. And finally, I've got 149. Now I'm just going to double check and make sure I didn't miss any numbers, and I think I've got them all. Couple things I want you to notice. The first is that when I did this, I tried to be kind of consistent with my columns. So you can see that I've got like all of the first numbers lined up, all of the second numbers lined up, and then I tried to just kind of keep everything lined up. If I asked you to figure out what the shape of this stem and leaf plot is, which you might need to do later on, having everything kind of written out cleanly is going to help with that. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that typically when you make a stem and leaf plot, you're going to do it like I did, where you're not going to put any commas in. Unfortunately, when you do your work on Canvas, it's not going to work out quite so perfectly. So when you do Canvas, you will put commas in. But if you ever did this on paper, or if you ever see another example written out, you should see it without any commas in there. Okay, so here is what the entire thing looks like if I just sort of have it cleaned up nicely for you. Just a couple things that I want you to know about stem and leaf plots. One thing is that it should hopefully make the distribution of the data a little easier to see. And then like I mentioned before, it should help you see kind of the shape of your graph as well. You can see that there's a lot of people in their 40s and 50s, but there aren't nearly as many in their 60s and 70s. So when we talk about the shape of graphs later on, that should kind of help you figure that out. Okay, just a couple other questions that we might have about stem and leaf plots. What do you do if you have a decimal? How do you set up a stem and leaf plot if you have a decimal? Well, the key that you make is going to be really important to that. So when you make your stem and leaf plot that's decimal, you're going to want your key to look like this, where the line that you have is representing the decimal point. So this line that I have here in the middle is representing my decimal point. That means if I had a stem and leaf plot for this one, my stems would be 2, 3. I'm going to include 4, even though there isn't anything for 4 and 5, just to keep everything consistent. The line is representing my decimal point. And then over for my leaves, I'd have 2.4, so I'm going to do a 4. I've got 3.5 and another 3.5, so I'd list that twice. And then for the 5, I would do 5.9 like this. So what if you have a 3-digit number? So a number like 223, 247. How are you going to set up the key for that? Well, what you need to do is to have 2 numbers listed for your stem. So where we've got this line right here, that's going to kind of show us that our stems are going to be things like 22, and then our leaves are going to be just the 3. So what that means is that when we set these up, our leaves need to be single-digit numbers. So it's okay to have more than 1 digit for your stems, but for your leaves, you need to make sure that you have 1 digit at a time. So if I was going to make a stem and leaf plot for this one, I would start with 22, and then I'm going to go all the way up to 29 here. I need to make my line longer here, my vertical line. So then if I was going to fill this in for these pieces of data that we have, 223 would look like this. 233 is my next smallest number, so I'm going to do that next. So 233 would be 23, and then with the 3 next to it. Then I'm going to do 241 next, since that's the next lowest, so I would put a 1 here. And then for 247, I would put that here. And then finally for 290, I would do a 0 down here, and that's going to give me 290. Okay, here's our last example here. So what if you have 3 digits for your stems, but they're not really that close together? Well, what do you do in that situation? If you think about how I would set my stem and leaf plot up for this, I would need to have a pretty big number here for my stem. So I've got 2,345, so I would need to do something like 2,345. Well, I'm not going to want to count 2,300 and do 234, 235, 236, 237. I'm not going to want to keep doing that all the way until I get all the way up to 252 for this 2529 number. So sometimes what you need to do is make a little bit of a change here And what we call this is that we truncate the numbers, which means that we're going to chop them off and round them. So I'm going to round 2,345 to 2,300, and I'm going to round 2,395 to 2,300 as well. So rounding these off for my key, I could do something like this where I would have 2 and a 3, and that's going to represent 2,300. So if you're ever trying to make a stem and leaf plot for numbers that are spaced really far apart, that truncating is a possibility for you.